I want to take a moment here and just explore the idea of negative exponents. When I first started working as a tutor, I was always blown away by the concept of any number to the 0 power, except for 0. When you raise it to the 0 power, why is it 1 and not 0? And I never really could figure that out, because what it's saying is 10 times itself 0 times, and you would think it would be nothing, because I'm not multiplying it by anything. So that's actually a pretty common question. Let's explore why that is. It's kind of fun, actually, when you take a look at the whole thing. So I know what 10 to the third is. That's the same thing as 10 times itself 3 times. There's once, twice, 3 times, which could simplify to be 1,000. And we know that if I increase the power, I'm making the number larger without bound. It just approaches infinity as the exponent gets higher. So that would be 10 times itself 4 times, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, meaning I'm adding another 0, which, in a sense, all I did was just multiply by 10. Makes sense. I've started with 3 multiples of 10. I added another one. I had to multiply by 10. So that's cool, but let's go the other direction. I want to know what happens as I approach 0. So let's go 10 squared. We know that's the same thing as 10 times 10, which gives me 100. Now I want to notice something here. I've removed a group of zeros. So going the other direction, as I head towards smaller powers, what's going on is that I'm dividing by 10. From 1,000, when I divide 10 out, I get 100, which makes sense because I started with 3 groups of 10. Now I've only got 2 groups of 10, 2 multiples of 10, I should say. Okay, so let's keep following that same pattern of dividing by 10 each time as I go down. 10 to the first, that one's easy. It's just 10 times itself 1 time. There it is. Notice, still the same pattern. I'm dividing by 10 right there to give me this. Okay? Now the next step makes sense. 10 to the 0 power is kind of an abstract idea. I'm not sure what to put here, but if I follow the same pattern of dividing by 10 each time, then I could see 10 divided by 10 is simply 1. So 10 to the 0 power, or any number to the 0 power except for 0 itself, when you raise it to the 0, you get 1 that comes out. Now this is what a negative exponent does. I'm going to keep going down. What happens if I have 10 to the negative 1 power? How do I multiply 10 by itself negative 1 times? That's really abstract. But if I keep following the same process of dividing by 10 each time, which instead of dividing by 10, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. It'll make more sense doing it that way. I'm going to multiply by 1/10 instead. Now 1 times 1/10 gives me 1/10. It's on the next one that you can really start to see the patterns happening. What about 10 to the negative 2nd power? Again, you take your 1/10 and you're going to multiply it by another 1/10. That gives me 1/100th, which I'm going to write right here to be 1 over 10 squared. Notice that if I wrote this as over 1, now the shortcut says I can just move it underneath and it changes the negative power to a positive power. And I'm sure you understand that already, but when you lay it down like this, it really makes a lot of sense going about this. Now I could skip some, right, all the way down to 10 to the negative 100th power. The reciprocal of a googol, right? Because that would be 1 over 10 to the 100th power. Very, very, very small number, but you can see how the process works. Move it over to the division bar, change it to positive.